how open are you to the opportunities that come your way? Are you consciously aware of how things seem to be unfolding in your life, or are you missing out on opportunities? Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish, and welcome to a series for those people dreaming of making the leap from their job to being a business owner. And this is episode 11, and my special guest today is Ros Boundy from Hypnosis+plus with Ros. So before we begin, we do have a little bit of housekeeping to do. So first of all, if you know someone who is currently dreaming of being a business owner, why not invite them over to the broadcast? Just hit the arrow button below. Also, we are going live on a few different pages. So if you're wanting us to be able to see your comments, please make sure that you've clicked the link that should be up above me and make sure that you're over here on My Time TV live. Thank you for that. So back to our question. How consciously aware are you of opportunities when they present themselves? Being aware of opportunities is all about priming part of your limbic system, called your RAS, or your reticular articulating system, to focus on particular things. When we don't do this consciously, then our unconscious mind just kind of takes over and tries to work out what it is that we're focusing on with our internal, external dialogue, and those are the things that get presented to us. And often they're not necessarily in our best interest. The good news is that you can actually change that around. If you start to think about certain things in a more positive way, for example, you might start to think about finding opportunities to help your business get started or help your business grow. By having that focus, then the RAS will start to present those opportunities to you. Then you just have to be ready to grab them. Don't ignore them. Actually let it happen, and you'll be amazed at the things that can start to unfold in your life. Set yourself up to succeed by making sure your focus is on the right thing. Now, before I bring on my guest for today, I just want to remind you that if you are wanting us to be able to see your comments, and I can see that Kat has already put a comment in. So if you're wanting us to be able to see your comments, then please make sure that you are over here, you've followed the link up above, and you're watching on My Time TV live. All right, I'm now going to bring Ros on. Hi, Ros. Welcome to the broadcast.
How are you, Marianne?
I'm very well today. Yes, well, so far we've got Kat, who's, let's see if we can get that across. So Kat, who's said hi to you already.
Yes, so I've seen Kat before on some of my shows.
Yes. Okay, so you're familiar. That's good. All right.
Just a little. Yeah.
It's good when we have people who we know showing up. All right. Yes. So let's maybe get started just by getting people to know a little bit about your business, and then we'll kind of delve a little bit deeper into how you got to your business. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, my business has had a few of its ups and downs over the years, but it actually essentially did start back in 2004, where I started doing some training as a massage therapist initially, and as an aromatherapy massage therapist. So I was more into the gentler arts of the body touch, nurturing, and looking after my clients that way. Didn't quite get into the facials. It was more the body work, and then moving into the connection of what was the more spiritual side and into the energy work, because I then moved into the different techniques that we grow into learning, get guided into learning, and opening ourselves to different avenues of helping others. That eventually did move into doing a hypnotherapy certification, which is why I've got the page Hypnosis+ with Ros. And in the last few years, there has been the ups and downs because I've had to have time off. I chose to to look after my mum as a full-time carer, and then back into it now. And it really is like regrowing, replanting, re-nurturing what was, and, you know, moving it back out into the world. I suppose we do tend to have some aspirations to making a difference, and I'm no different to anyone else. With the clients, I want to make a difference in their lives and, you know, help them solve their problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean about that journey that you can go on and just get led in different ways. So I'll just say
it can
hi
be
to
life.
the
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know where life is leading you. And I suppose that's kind of what I was talking about at the start in my introduction. You know, we need to be open to where we're going to get led. So are there any particular people that you work with, or any particular focus that you have with your business?
Well, it's one of those things that I haven't even still now not really brought into my mind the focus that I want, because I'm still unsure. Well, it's not the unsure, it's the refining of the where I want it to go. I don't like to manage things. I tend to go with the flow, I suppose. So it takes longer sometimes to actually have that happen. And especially when you do have life events that crop up that bring those forms of interruption. And you know, looking after mum wasn't the only instance where I had that type of interruption. It was, you know, but it does help to refine who we are, to actually even then narrow down where we want to actually have our influence or skills being used. So I suppose in that respect, that's why it went through to the hypnotherapy, and even still now it's even refining again more to the energy work with the sound vibrational therapy. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds like an interesting direction to go.
Yeah, and with anyone that's building up and working their business, we do tend to actually attract to us those who are most similar to us and our own experiences, because that's what our experience is, to help others in that like-mindedness. So as far as who I'm serving, it probably is those who are in that menopausal plus age group and the maturing years and wanting to grow into their own direction of whether it's business or whether it's, you know, at that point of I just want to rest and retire and start planning for that. You know, so
Yes.
because I've had those thoughts too, but I feel like at times I haven't even started yet doing the work, you know, the business. It's all of that sort of interaction and conflict. Sometimes you think, no, let's just give it a bit more time. I'll go with the flow and see what I'm actually meant to be doing, because I do take some guidance from more spiritual connections as well. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes you just have to listen and follow along with that.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
All right. So we've learned a little bit about where your business is currently and some of the ways that it's changed and evolved. How did you actually get started in your business in the first place?
It's something that I've actually had to think about more so lately because of, well, with the way that the world is at the moment with the pandemic and people losing jobs and security and, you know, not knowing what's next, even myself, because of the way it's such a unknown in respect of, gee, can people even afford to spend the money on getting the help they actually need? Because, you know, it's that cycle. I've never really actually done full-time work as an employee elsewhere, right? And I've had to join in, I felt the need to join in with the Centrelink circus. Anyway, I've always been in business. It's been as a young married woman, growing a family with a husband, growing a business. And that's where it started. I've always been in business and grew what I knew, what I needed to know in the bookkeeping side, admin, all that in that process. And then when it came to that 2004 mark, roughly, knowing I wanted to do more, the kids were all at school, all of that process of potential empty nesting in a way. But it was more than that, because I did have a workaholic husband, and it eventually moved into the fact that I chose to move away from the marriage. We did end up divorcing, and I needed to have those skills to use as a growing business myself elsewhere. So that's where that came from. And it was more as I had those skills and doing them with, using them with clients and being able to make the difference at that level, I then had a life experience of a diagnosis with a cancer tumour in the bowel. And that was, the sudden things that can change your life at times. You go in for a colonoscopy. I thought I had bleeding hemorrhoids and it wasn't, and all of that, and instantly a change of plan. And this was only the 3 days after my youngest daughter had married and they were on their honeymoon. It's all that sort of stuff that happens, and it's a story. That's all it is. It was an experience that I would not be without, because after the op, I woke up and I had a bag. And I didn't know what that meant, because the specialist did suggest, look, we probably don't think you'll need a bag, but there was nothing explained about the potential that is what might happen. So, sometimes with a resection, you've got to have it to rest the bowel, blah, blah. So I did have that experience of 4 months being an ostomate, having a bag, going through that process. And it's still something that I think today, you don't ever forget that experience. You don't ever, it's still something that I have as part of my mindset, that it's just something that occurred, and I can understand others in similar positions. So it's further what I've got to offer in that understanding and empathy from experience. And I chose not to go through any chemo or other therapies. It was something that was encouraged. Oncologists like to do their stuff, obviously, and I just decided on the numbers that for me, if it's something that's been removed, what are you treating? I didn't want because drugs can be toxic. I decided no. So I've moved forward on that. Hypnotherapy, because I had just learnt the hypnotherapy before all this process too, so I was able to use that as part of managing the change and the difference in feeling in the bowels, and sometimes pain levels because of the change in diet meant that there was blockages, all those different intricate things that can happen in your life that you don't even think of until it does change in that type of an instant change that I had. I don't think of it much now, but it's still something that we, as observers of other people around us, because it's all we can be, we can have interaction, communication, sharing, but we're still only observers of someone else's experience of their life. So we need to be learning that, like you said, listening. We do need to be listening to each other in a lot more depth, so that we can have that better understanding of where each and every one of us is at, sort of, because we are interconnected on the energetic level as well as interaction in the physical. So, and just sharing that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I've just got Cindy, who's just put a little bit of a comment up. Let's see if we can get that. So she's wondering, I'm assuming, about hypnosis with vertigo, dizziness. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, there's so many different therapies that are around, and I do encourage people to be open to what they're actually having being brought to their attention. Because for me, like my going with the flow, it's not always just a casual, I'm too lazy to do anything about what I need to be planning and blah, blah. It's more an awareness of that direction of, some people use that word passion. What is your passion in life? I sometimes feel for myself that that's an overrated term or word, because we can absolutely feel in contentment and still know that direction of, I really enjoy and like doing this, and feeling content, not passionate about something, but feeling content. And it might be a comfort level thing, but it's still something that and that having that awareness, this feels just so right for being the direction I'm needing to go and do things, especially if it is, along how I got started with the aromatherapy. It was the desire to help others, because in that inner world of me, I needed help, and you start to work on that inner you, and you're learning those skills to share with others. So with the NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, with your timeline therapy, even the massage and moving your lymph fluids around the body and all of that at that more physical level, it does help to get oxygenated to the brain to actually help relieve vertigo. It's all of that connection. And even just doing meditations or mantras, it can help focus the body into bringing some alignment to your chi or your meridians, or, all, because it's just so many different systems, but they are actually all working together. And
yes, they are.
Being open to what you're directed to, we can't do it all at once. It really is sometimes just taking that one step with one thing, then the next step with the next thing, and working through it. It's how we learnt to, take those first steps when we learnt to walk. It is the one step at a time, and moving through life is pretty much the same thing.
Yes, I've just got a little bit more from Cindy as well. So it's hard to have passion for me because of this condition. I used to have drive and a lot of creative drive. Now I'm bedridden. Yeah, it's a pretty tough one.
Well, it can be. Yeah, it certainly is, especially if you're used to actually being energetic and being out and active. And this is where I suppose I have learnt over time to have that slightly, I wouldn't say skewed, but different type of a perspective on things, because it is just change the perspective. Okay, I can't do this now. I'm not one to sort of do the boredom thing. I read a lot. I mean, I'm okay with being in bed. I wouldn't say I've been bedridden for huge lengths of time, but it certainly was a fairly good recovery time that I was in bed after having the biggest op I've had so far. It's making use of that time for what are the alternatives. In what way can I frame how I'm expressing who I am that is going to be more productive, instead of feeling, oh, woe is me, and a victim. Not to say that you are, Cindy, but it is something that just even a slight shift. I mean, even as I'm looking at my screen here in the camera, and I can see how I'm framed in this visual, even if I can change just to that, and I'm seeing a different view, there's space there behind, there's space there now behind me. What can I fill that with? Is it really even necessary? Is that rest for the eyes something that's actually giving me relief and time to have my, and even being bedridden, giving it time for the body to rejuvenate and have its repairing system, its self-repairing system, working at that level. And there are ways. The meditation, I can see a comment there that the meditation helps. Even taking it that step further, that is, whether it's just chanting or repeating a mantra or a line of verse from a poem, just to have a focus that's creating an inner vibration, is like an inner massage of the body to get some of those inner organs working where massage can't reach, where other things, devices can't reach. We can create that vibrationary pattern within ourselves by our voice, by toning. I mean, toning's a different style of chanting, I suppose, if you like. That's putting it really roughly. But there's ways of doing things, even laying in bed, to help self and rest even.
Yes.
It's okay to be in complete silence and just, doesn't even have to be a meditation.
Yes, exactly. So Cindy, we would encourage you, just to keep going. Obviously, if the meditation is helping, then keep exploring that, because there are so many different ways that you can alter the energy that can actually have an impact. So good luck, Cindy, but definitely don't, kind of give up. There are ways to get through. So,
and even in that process, you can still flourish. You can still be the best person, best version of who you are, even from your bed.
Yeah. So probably mindset is the other thing to think about, even though it can be really hard when you feel like you've lost a lot of things. It is possible to change that around, definitely. All right. Well, hope that helps, Cindy. But keep searching, keep going. There are ways that you can get through. All right, we've kind of got a little bit off track, but I think that kind of shows a little bit of where we're both coming from. But no, it's basically where I think that's how we've kind of crossed paths a bit, is along those lines of the energy and the helping and that kind of thing as well. So yes, we've sort of covered lots of different things. I'm just thinking where we'll go next. So
I hope I haven't made it too challenging for you. Get back on track.
No, I'm used to all of that. All right. We're really glad that if we've been able to help you a little bit, Cindy, I hope you can keep going. All right. So basically let's get back to thinking about what's happened in your business. So you've talked a little bit about different things that made it difficult for you, as well as how you dealt with that. So what advice would you actually give people who are thinking about making a transition, like going from being an employee to being a business owner? What might be the best way to actually do that?
I think probably the biggest thing for anyone who has that transition in mind or already taking it and in their own new business, I'm pretty sure most in an employee working for someone else, as much as the skill levels that you may have and attain in what you actually do that you're transitioning into, if it's the same skills or whether it's completely different. I have, in talking with people over the years, found that most have had that culture shock of, God, it's harder than I thought it would be, because there is a big difference between actually working for someone else and doing your own business, running your own business. There is a different level of how much commitment and involvement you need to have in running your own business. And because most of us do start as the one person doing everything type of, well, not work, business. So you are chief cook and bottle washer for everything. You're doing your own marketing, you're doing your own, for me, it was at the table, you're doing your own of everything.
Yes.
And it is hard. It can be hard work. I mean, I still find it so hard for the marketing side of it. It's one part, and I'm still learning, but it's still something that I haven't put fully into the practice because it's not the part I enjoy. There's certain areas of running your own business that you just got to swallow hard and do it, even if you don't like it. Many don't like the bookkeeping side. I don't mind that. It's where I come from. That's what I qualify and other things. So that part I don't mind. It's selling myself. Oh, I hate that. It's the many different areas. It really is learn what you need to. Otherwise, do delegate and pay someone else as soon as you can afford to pay someone else to actually do those tasks and do the part that you do love, that does touch your heart, that does connect you with your people, so that you can actually enjoy it. Because there are times you're not going to enjoy it all, but it really is that persistence, and sometimes just long hours, hard work to start off with. But it's And what comes to mind is that little picture that has the two miners digging their tunnel up to the diamond mine. And one's on his way back, having got that close to the load of diamonds in the mine, and the other one's still happily digging away because he knows he's going to get there. It's just that little difference, and it's such a powerful little picture.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is something that you need to be prepared for in that change, because what you have to face is totally different to what you think you're going to have to face as a business owner. The reality is quite different to what your imagination is.
Yes. And also being willing to ask for help. You must ask for help when you get to that point. Otherwise, you do feel the overwhelm and as if you're swallowed up. I mean, I did have moments of that myself in that transition from working with my husband, ex-husband then, and, to being on my own. I was determined to prove myself, and then realised a few years later, I don't have to prove a frigging thing to anybody. I can create it as I want it. That's the whole beauty of moving into something that you yourself can create as your business. But certainly still needing to have that willingness to ask for help if you need it. Yeah. And there is many ways of doing that. Having a coach is really a good idea too. Whether business coach, life coach, something, it's that, connecting with someone else who is not closely knowing who you are, that's got that more objective look at what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I definitely swear by having a coach. As those people who followed the show would know, my story of not having a coach and not succeeding, as opposed to getting coaches, and it just changes the way that you approach things. Okay,
It does.
It looks like
not absolutely necessary, but it certainly does move you along with a lot more ease, actually.
Yeah, I think with a bit more momentum, and it is possible to succeed without it, but it is, I think, just that feeling of support as well, and knowing that there is someone there who's got your back. If you're really stuck, you can just go to them and get some kind of help. So it looks like we've got someone else. We'll get back to this, but we've just got Joanne, I think.
Yeah, just noticed that as well.
Yeah. So
I don't think my sister would mind me sharing. She has similar issues with chronic pain because she has a autoimmune disease. And it is something that I am just I'm full of love with how she actually handles the positive attitude and thinks only of the positive. I know she has some really bad days at times where the pain is so hard to handle. So I'm and it is one of those things that no one else is going to understand as fully as you do, Joanne, because you are in that pain. And the same with my sister, but it's just something that the strength of character that's been built within her in the experience that incurable. She knows it's got to be dealt with. So I suppose that's why some of that mindset is there. Whatever you're suffering from, I really feel for you, Joanne. There are ways, I mean, there is some ways to help alleviate some of that chronic pain. It's just finding the right one that suits each and every individual, because none of us is the same. Yeah, so I hope you find something that relieves that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there are lots of different ways that you can, find some relief and that kind of thing. But yeah, it can be a tricky situation, definitely. So yes, I mean, people like you, Joanne, and Cindy are actually why we have gotten into the areas that we have, just to be able to have people come along with those same kinds of problems and actually help them through. It's just, you just need to find those people in your life, be led to those people who can actually help you, and good luck with that. All right. So let's kind of wrap up what we've been talking about, because we're kind of going off on a little journey, but that's okay. Journeys are good. I like journeys. So
it's almost like the wander through the forest and you find the different pathways as you go.
Yes. Makes me think of a hypnosis script I've been working on. But anyway.
Oh, that's one of those things. Interestingly, when I did the study for the hypnotherapy, it's in a style that we just wasn't taught the scripting or anything like that. So I've never used it.
Okay. Right.
It really is the intuitive base that I work from, and that is what my life is. So it's interesting when I hear scripts, not saying that they don't work. I mean, it's whatever style is going to be the end product of solving someone's problem. That's what we're about, is solving someone's problem. Who cares which way it's done, really? Even whether you use devices, which I'm going to be receiving a very interesting device, and I'll be putting that out elsewhere. It's things that you can just look into. If if you hear something along the line that tweaks your interest, follow it up and see where it's going to take you.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Yes, you just don't know. Okay. Anyway, all right. All right. Looks like we've got. Is it Isra? Isra from Pakistan.
Isra. Problems losing weight.
Well, it sounds like you're actually doing quite well if you've gone from 73 kilograms to 65 kilograms. That's quite good progress.
Yeah, that just depends if he's actually wanting to lose the weight.
Yeah.
Is how I'm reading. I don't know. With anything like that, are you concerned about losing the weight? Is it a problem that you are losing weight because you're going from what looks, and it depends on height. Are you male or female? All of that sort of stuff. Any concerns that you actually have, I mean, it really is the first point of call would be whoever is your medical connection. As far as, in Pakistan, I have no idea what the system is there, whether it's more along traditional medicines or Western medicine or whatever. If there's any concern, you do need to actually consult with those who are closer to you in that more physical connection, one-on-one. Get it checked physically first, and then follow up with other things. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, what's the length of time? What else has been happening? It's a few things there. So I'd just say, go and see someone who would have some expertise on that. All right, let's see if we can kind of wrap up a little bit on our journey.
Life really is a journey. It's good fun. I'll make it that way.
Don't know where it's going to go. All right. So basically, I always finish off by asking my guests what they think the best or the top 3 beliefs are that you need to remove to ensure that you're achieving what you want to as a business owner. So what would your advice be?
I think it's probably the core is understanding what your purpose is for your business. It would be the number one, so that you do jog your memory every so often as to why am I doing this, especially when it is those moments where it's getting into this is too hard basket, I'm chucking it out or whatever. There will probably be those moments, but there's other great moments where you're really achieving, you're making a difference for your customers or clients, depending on what style of business you have. I think it's that as the number one. Know what reason you're in it for. And there's nothing wrong with being in business to make a profit, make money, so that you're creating that stability and security for your own lifestyle or whatever. To me, it's just because I have a different understanding of the spirituality connection and the ethics and stuff behind how I do mine, but it's not judging others around how and why they're doing their work, their business, their empire building if they want to. because life really is just about the experience of what we're learning as we're moving along in it, and being that connection in relationship with other people. So, in doing business, that's what we're doing. We're creating relationship with other people, whether it's our customers, our clients, our suppliers, our banking system, or whatever. It's all relationship. So have a strong connection with your financial understanding and departments, whether you're in overdraft with a bank, or whether you've got a loan, or whether you're fully cashed up and can just spend how you want. It's all just knowing what position it is, because you can't go on forever if you're moving into a business that's running at a loss every year. It really is your responsibility to have it running well if you're deciding to move into running a business. So that'd be my second point. And really the third probably is just, look, enjoy it. Don't make it just the hard slog all the time. Understand that what you're doing, you don't stay friends with people that are continually dragging you down. You move on, don't you? So if it really is something that is just continually hard work, and you're just not enjoying it and you can't see the purpose in it, ditch it and focus on that first initial purpose. Why am I doing this? And, that having that where you are in that direction, like the two that are mining, I mean, you still got to have that purpose to be legit for you at the end of it. Even if you're spending all that time and energy to get to that diamond mine, or whatever that the picture I have is with diamonds. But it's just, is that worth all that work when at the end you go, oh, I don't really want these anyway, So I think it's the attention we give to it in knowing us, that's what we want and where we want to go with it in building a business.
Yeah, very, very good points. Yeah,
sort of. Yeah.
All right. So before I let you go, I know we were talking before about something that you've got coming up tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night that you've got?
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah. Look, part of what I use as my look, I wouldn't say passion, but it sort of is. I really like using cards. In part of my journey along the way has been opening up to what is my psychic, intuitive, mediumship. I have done some training in that area just because I wanted to sort of have a bit more structure around what I was feeling and seeing, because there have been instances that I've seen things and stuff that you just can't quite understand, and like it's just the connection that we have as far as what spiritual, and that's a whole new thing again. I don't want to start on that. But as far as spiritual connections go, I was brought up as a Methodist, and, I've decided, look, I've got my understanding. It's spirituality. It's not just religion. My parents accepted it eventually. So, cards like this, I do Lenormand cards. They're my favourite at the moment. And every Sunday night, I've just started doing it. It's a Lenormand thing. And I'm concentrating on those as a card. I use them as a guidance. Every morning at 8 o'clock, I do a live stream on mytimetv.live. And I said 8 o'clock, didn't I? At that time. So that's every morning at 8 o'clock, just a general reading. But it's just a little course, not a course, it's just a Zoom session. It's $20, I should say that better rather than all Aussie Dow. So it's $20. The link is somewhere. We did put that? No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
It's on my website. It's on that website.
Yes, I think we put on your website, didn't we? And it's on there. Yeah.
So tomorrow night's the 30th. There's a link thing there that's got a similar type of picture there that's to do with the Lenormand. It's a Lenormand thing, and it's just an hour of joining together to have fun with the Lenormand decks. And I have got some different ones to play around with tomorrow night. I bought a couple of decks. And it's just loosening up and allowing the intuition to be what it is in helping us gain some clarity via a tool. And that's all it is. They're just tools, and tuning into that. It's good fun for a Sunday night. I love it. So
Yes, sounds good.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. We've had an interesting chat. We've gone in all different directions that have been great.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking me to join you, because I just love having fun on live streams. I do.
And I enjoy having guests on who have a bit of fun as well. So thank you so much. All right. I'm just going to drop you out now. So once again, thank you. I hope you enjoyed having Ros come on. We've covered lots of different things, which is great. So let me just finish up by reminding you of where I started, and we kind of covered a little bit of that as we went along our journey today. So remember, it is important to be open to opportunities and ways that you may be being led, things that may help you to discover your passion, discover your purpose, or whatever else might be coming your way. So don't miss out on opportunities, be ready, and then sometimes having some action and some momentum will actually help you also to see which way you need to go. So be open. All right, now we have been talking a little bit about health and those kinds of things. So probably at this point it might be useful if I talk to you briefly about mind Reiki, which is something that I have started doing recently. And it's a way to give you a whole body reset. So we're working with the clients I'm currently working on. We're doing physical, mental, and emotional resets that have been quite amazing. So if you are interested in that, then put a comment of yes, and I'll let you know a little bit more. And also, if you are not in Adelaide, if you are somewhere else, I am currently putting together a distant mind Reiki program. So that will be available in early October. If you are interested in finding out about that, then put distant down below and I'll let you know a bit more as time progresses. Otherwise, I'd love you to head over to my Facebook page, One Life to Flourish, and you can see other ways that I can work with you. There's also the chance to grab my free program, the Happiness Habits Playbook, where there's a link over there. Now, please join me next Saturday at 4 p.m. when my special guest is Mary McLeod. Now, she's a singer-songwriter, a joy spreader, and a life transformation coach, if I can get that out. And her business is Mary McLeod's Self-Love Miracles. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to her, seeing what we can discover from her journey. So I'll see you then, and bye for now.